Greetings and welcome to episode number 2 of my Call of Duty League playoff predictions. If you didn't catch the first video, make sure you go back and watch it right now so you can see how we got to all the matches that I'm predicting today. Also, make sure you fill out your own bracket through the Call of Duty League website to have a shot at $100,000 for a perfect bracket. Now there's so much Call of Duty for us to get into today, and the tournament starts on the 19th all the way through the 30th, so make sure you got that bracket filled out before the first match kicks off. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, in the first winners round, I chose the Subliners to beat Minnesota 3-1, which sets them up for a match against the fan favorite Chicago Huntsmen. The Huntsmen have won over 62% of their matches this season and are sitting at a 20-12 record. These teams are very familiar with one another, having met 5 times this season, and the Huntsmen have the 3-2 edge. But in the most recent meeting, we all remember it was at the Subliners home series where they took down the Huntsmen and were able to obtain the home series victory. Now let's jump right into keys to the match, starting with the Chicago Huntsmen, and they are just such a dynamic roster who are good at all 3 game modes with over a 60% win ratio in every single mode. A lot of the focus on this team is oftentimes on the 2 sets of dynamic duos in the twins of Arcides and Pristini, and also we love them, we know them, T2P with Scump and Formal, but I think Envoy is the dark horse for the team. He's the difference maker and a phenomenal search and destroy performer as he sits at 4th in the CDL in kills per S&D. I look at him to step up in the respawns, and he really gives an edge to this team. Next up for the Huntsmen, they can't let the search and destroy slip. A lot of times when push comes to shove, this is a mode where the guys can kind of let it slip away from them and it ends up costing them series. So if they can clutch up an S&D, I think they're all set there. And lastly, they need to bring a championship mentality. 4 of the 5 players on this roster are world champions. So if they can bring that sort of momentum and energy into this match, they'll be primed to win it. Next up for the Subliners, they have to make good risk-reward decisions in respawns. The Huntsmen are so good at all respawn modes that I think fundamentals may not do it for the Subliners, so they're going to have to take risks, and if they do, I believe they'll pay off. Next for the Subliners, they have to win the submachine battle. It's simple as that. Mac is great, you don't have to worry about his performance as an AR, but you have to stop Envoy. Attach is the key for that. He's the youngest world champion in Call of Duty history, so I think you look to him to shut down somebody like Envoy, and if he can do that, I mean, we know about the Subliners, 54% in hardpoint, and the other 2 modes, they're hovering around a 45% win ratio. So those are my keys for them, but at the end of the day, I think the Huntsmen are gonna come to play in their first match of the weekend and take it 3 maps to 1. Up next on the docket is the Mutineers versus Toronto Ultra. Now the Mutineers have the 2nd best win percentage in the Call of Duty League at 70% and have won 3 home series on the season. As far as the history between these two, they're 1-1 against each other, but the Ultra have been trending upwards. As we know, they won the last home series of the season, and the Mutineers are finally starting to look vulnerable. After they won back-to-back home series, they've fallen off the tracks a little bit. Let's jump right into keys to the match, starting with Florida, and I think you have to let the Bash Bros go to work, and I'm talking about Skies and Awakening. If these guys can slay, we know Skies has the 2nd best KD in the Call of Duty League behind Octane, so he controls the power positions and all the lanes with his assault rifle while the subs go and get dirty. Talking about submachine gun players, you have to help Havoc find his stride. The past 2 events, he's had a negative KD, and I think that he can really step up and get his KD back on track in hardpoint, as he has the 4th highest hill time in the Call of Duty League, so you have to help Havoc get on track. And lastly, cool down Chef Zinni. If he gets cooking early on for Toronto, they start snowballing, and their momentum as a team, they will dominate if they get to that point, so you have to slow down Chef Zin. As for the Ultra methods, he is the key to the match for them. If he can control the power positions and knock off Awakening and Skies, you're setting yourself up for success. Next, I think Cammy needs to rise to the occasion. He's been so successful and a versatile player all season long for Toronto, but he's never really been in a situation like this talking about COD champs, so he needs to shake the nerves off, get going early, and rise to the occasion. Lastly, I think we have to look at Bance and talk about how he can adapt map by map to make changes for the team that he sees. Bance is someone with a lot of experience throughout his career in Call of Duty, and he can make those on-the-spot decisions. When he noticed Florida might be doing something or switching up a strategy, he needs to be the one to call it out and say, hey guys, let's switch it up, we'll find success in this. With that being said, I think this series will go the distance, and I'm giving the edge to Florida 3-2 Mutineers. Now the Royal Ravens are set to take on the Seattle Surge, and these teams last met on July 17th at the Royal Ravens home series, and it was the infamous match when Slack lagged out and London ended up winning 3 maps to 1, so I think the Surge are ready for a second shot at this Royal Ravens team. Talking about keys to the match, I'm looking at London first. They have to win the AR battle and control Octane. I think Wuskin and Octane are going to go head-to-head throughout this entire match, as they have 2 of the best KD ratios throughout all of the Call of Duty League, so expect fireworks between these two. Next, the Royal Ravens have to be better in domination. They have under a 35% win ratio, and that's the actual game mode that Seattle is best at, and they dropped to them in that July home series. So I think the Surge may have the upper hand there, but if the Ravens can touch things up and control the domination, they have a good shot. Lastly, I think they just need to play fundamental in search and destroy and hardpoint. Overall, I think the Royal Ravens are a better team than Seattle, so if they don't make any major mistakes or let Seattle get into the series, they're going to have a good shot to win it. Now, talking about Seattle, they can't rely on Octane. I think people like Pander and Proto both need to step up in this series, as their KDs are below a 0.9, so if they can get rolling and play a supporting role and kind of feed Octane a little bit and take some of the weight off of his shoulders, that's going to help give Seattle a good shot. We know domination is their one good game mode, so I think they have to be able to steal a hard point from the Royal Ravens. It's just another respawn. I know the strategies are different, but if you can perform good enough in domination, why not be able to translate that to hard point? So if the Surge do that, they're going to have a good shot at taking a search and destroy, in my opinion. And lastly, they have to play inspired. In my bracket, I have them winning their first match of the weekend and making it further along, which not a lot of people do. So if they can be inspired by their play and that one win they pick up, I think it gives them a good shot to have confidence and possibly take down this Royal Ravens team. But at the end of the day, I don't know if Seattle is going to be able to do all that, so I'm giving the Royal Ravens a 3-1 victory, only dropping the domination. Next, the Minnesota Rocker and Optic Gaming Los Angeles are set to take on one another for the 4th time this season. Currently, Optic leads the series 2-1, but these teams haven't played each other with the current rosters that they are each showcasing at the Call of Duty League playoffs. For Optic, Chino, Dashi, and JCap were all part of their wins, and as far as the Rocker goes, we know that they have their complications in the roster, as GodRx was just benched for Exceed, so I think the series history does not even matter. Keys to the match, starting with the Rocker. Coming into this after losing to the Subliners in my previous bracket video, they will have lost 9 in a row. So I think they need to win the first hardpoint in order to get some momentum going. They also need to find a slaying prowess, and I think you look to guys like Alex and Assault for that. Assault is one of the best players in the Call of Duty League, and he just needs a little bit of support. I think Alex is the next best thing for him, who can give a little bit of that assistance. And lastly, Exceed, he's coming off the bench to pick up the pace for this Rocker team and play fast. He needs to win the battle against TJ and Kenny, because those are the 2 guys that fly for Optic Gaming. As for OGLA, they have to focus on respawns, especially domination. Since Draza and Hollow have joined the team, they're close to 60% as a hardpoint team, but Minnesota has the edge in domination with a 46% win ratio. So if they can sneak that domination, I think they have a good chance to possibly 3-0 Minnesota. Not sure if that's going to happen, but the other thing that Optic Gaming has to do is let your SMG shine like a shooting star. The pressure is off Slasher, as GodRx is not on the other side of things for him. So what you have to do, I think you have to trust your gun skill and let Kenny and TJ just fly at Minnesota. If you do that, I think you pick up the map win and the series win. For Optic Gaming, I have them taking the series 3 maps to 1. Now the winter semifinals are set, and it's between Atlanta FaZe and the Chicago Huntsmen. The last time these 2 teams met, there was so much hype surrounding the series, and it didn't live up to the hype and expectation, as Chicago ended up 3-0ing the Atlanta FaZe. Both teams have won 2 home series this season, and I think whoever wins this matchup has a good chance to make it to the grand finals. Now the keys for the Atlanta FaZe, statistically speaking, they're the best team in the Call of Duty League. They've won 79% of their matches, and this roster is absolutely disgusting. What I think they need to do in this particular series, well, Cellium and Simp have to play like MVPs, and as we know, Simp is an MVP. He's a world champion, and he was crowned the Astro Gaming MVP last season, and I think a spot where he really shines is Search and Destroy. He's the best player in the league with a 1.32 KD. As for an entire team, they have to embrace the pressure. You're going to feel it going up against a powerhouse like the Chicago Huntsmen, so the clutch moments will arise in this series. You have to grab them and make them yours. Lastly, steal a respawn. Plain and simple. Chicago Huntsmen, they are one of the most notorious teams when it comes to respawn, with guys like Scump and Formal, and they have been throughout the entirety of their career. So if you can take a good hardpoint match win against them, you're looking very nice. Now for the Chicago Huntsmen, this is a team that is built for pressure situations and this kind of occasion with so much championship experience. As we mentioned earlier, 4 of the 5 players on the roster are world champions. This is the best hardpoint team in the league at 67% map wins, so all they have to do is stay composed. If you can play your own game, you know what you need to do. Just channel that composure, take a deep breath before the series, you'll be in good shape. I think Envoy also needs to outplay Simp and Abizi. Those two are some of the best SMGs in the game, but Envoy, he's no slouch either as he sits at a 1.02 KD, and we know there's not a lot of positive KD SMGs throughout the Call of Duty League, so this is a very special feat. Next, T2P has to play with energy. If you give them gas, we've heard in Astro Gaming listen-ins how excited Scump and Form will get, and they play off each other's energy. If you give them that kind of power, they're going to take over a map and possibly the whole series. Lastly, this series is going to come down to a search and destroy. It's going 5 maps, I guarantee it. So the guys from Huntsman, they have to win the search and destroy. It's been kind of a crutch of them over the years is not clutching up in the search and destroy. So if they do that, they win it, and I think they will. I think they take map 5 and the Huntsmen win it 3-2. Now the last match we're going to talk about from this weekend is the Empire versus Mutineers. These two have a track record with one another, as this will be the 7th meeting on the season, and Dallas has the edge 4-2 in that category, and they've been consistent against top teams like the Mutineers, Huntsmen, and FaZe all season long. The keys to the match for the Empire, well, Shotzi, he needs to play at his best. He's a stud coming over from a different title in Halo. He learned this game super quick, and it shows. He carries the team in objective game modes, has an average of 1 minute and 5 seconds hill time and hardpoint, and over 6 flag captures in domination. Look to Shotzi to carry you in the respawns, help him in the search and destroy, and you're primed for a good series. Next up, you have to listen to the leadership of Clay and Crim6. These guys have been in the situation as some of the oldest savvy veterans in the Call of Duty League. They know what they're talking about. If they say something, listen. Plain and simple. Next up, don't get complacent because you have the Mutineers number lately. I know you've won the last 3 matches against them, but trust me, it's champs. It's a different feeling, a different environment. They will come to play. You can't get complacent. Lastly, Huke the Nuke, he's got to slay. He has the 2nd most kills in the Call of Duty League with 2,562. If he keeps slaying out, Dallas wins the series. As far as the keys to the match go for the Mutineers, they've lost 3 straight to Dallas, as we've mentioned, so they have to match the Empire's pace. If they can keep up with them, kill for kill, break into objectives, I think they have a good shot. They are a better search and destroy team, and the stats show that. All they have to do is execute the strategies. A guy like Havoc has 47 first bloods on the season, and he's notorious for being a great search and destroy player. Clutch up in those big moments, and you're in good shape. Next up, I think when Havoc, Frosty, and Pharaoh excel, the team wins the submachine gun matchup, and it puts you in a good spot for the rest of the series, because Awakening, he's disgusting. You know he's going to play at his best, so if he can get some support, him and Skies being able to slay out, as Skies has that 1.24 KD, 2nd best in the CDL, All they need is a little bit of help from their submachine gunners, but at the end of the day, I think we have another 5-map series, and Dallas takes it 3 maps to 2. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to the second edition of my Call of Duty League Playoff Bracket Series. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like, and comment down below what you think. Also, follow me on Twitter at zhack16. And lastly, make sure you fill out your own bracket through the Call of Duty League website for a chance at $100,000. It takes 5 minutes to fill out a bracket. You pick the match winner and the series map count. That's all you have to do, and you have a chance to win $100K for a perfect bracket. And I think my bracket is shaping up to be pretty nice. Listen to my insight, listen to the stats I'm giving you, and you'll have just as good of a shot. Thank you so much again, everyone, for watching. Tune in next time. We're gonna finish up this series and crown an eventual champion. So excited for it. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Peace.